Good afternoon, everyone. As this grand solar minimum intensifies in the planetary geometry in 2024, will put extreme duress on the ability for our world to grow food. The governments need to start controlling citizens and food distribution right now. Women walking in a park arrested in the UK. Article says national effort to reduce travel. How's that climate nugget being lumped into the bug? Food price inflation accelerating even after 6.5-year highs. Still up 19% in 2020. Pakistan hit by nationwide power blackout. Vatican as well. Hidden history in the architecture. Dresden as well. Power receivers, perhaps? As Americans seek economic protection after the most controversial election in U.S. history, year to date in 2020 alone, gold is up 30% and silver rising more than 50%. And now we're entering a new year facing economic realities of a global economic crisis caused by COVID and political reactions. And the knowledge that Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold IRA dealer 5 years in a row from 2016 until present. Click the link in the description box below for more information. And now on with the video. And for those of you just starting to follow this channel, thank you so much for subscribing and coming in on the conversation. Fingerprints are the grand solar minimum. These cycles of contraction in food supply for the global populace, these are forecastable. Longer duration than the regular 11-year cycle, but here we are at the cusp again of a grand solar minimum and global food shortages. And the first shaking of the foundations of our society is going to occur in 2024, October, when the second magnetic field is formed between the gas giants. The magnetic field of the sun decreases slightly and the Earth will be in the center. You're going to be looking for landslides as a major validator of this. Sinkholes, when you start to see many more of these coming in the news, this is going to affect our ability to grow food. Not only distribution, but the jet streams are going to start acting so strangely. You're going to need to control the global populace. No doubt in my mind. Government's already planning for this. Being at 6.5-year highs in food pricing anyway, now 2020 brings us with another 20% increase in prices. Now, I don't know how many out-of-work people can continue to purchase higher-priced foods, and now gasoline is moving way up in price as well. So now it's a double pincer, higher food price, higher energy price. Although not as high as 2011, I would say 2021 is going to make us eclipse the 2011 price index. We know what happens when price indexes spike, people out of work, unemployment, angry people. And it's just strange how all these events are happening right now to limit more movement, limit more communication, more control of government distribution. And it would not surprise me if food rationing is in by the end of 2021. Because I saw this article out of the BBC, and these women were exercising and they were arrested. And get this, those cups of coffee, it was deemed they were having a picnic. Now, inside the article, it was trying to dissuade people from going outside to go exercise, but the national effort to reduce travel was a nugget of climate variability twisted in there. And I thought, you know what? How are they now mixing climate mitigation inside these stay-at-home things? That popped out of nowhere. See how it's ever changing, and we're starting to see through the fog here. Also, it was not in the spirit. Wrong think. So the Benny Hill cops in the background there, I wonder if they'll get more food for their families if they continue with the power grab for the elite. Over in Canada, another grab to control citizens' movements, complete control of citizens, basically. Arrested on the spot, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., first time ever introduced. And I love how in the first paragraph of the article, they don't even try to sugarcoat it. They're like, leaving little choice but for more draconian, quote-unquote, rules to be introduced. They don't even use different softer words like intensified, harsher. They just went straight for draconian. That is crazy in the news. And obviously it's the first of its kind in Canada. But after what's happened in the U.S., this is the gameplay for every country. You can see it already unrolling in the first days after the chaos in the U.S. Also of note in interconnectivity here, you know power grids are going to be going down left, right, and center during this grand solar minimum event. Now, is it electromagnetic? Is it crustal slips? It's breaking lines? Not sure, but you can definitely expect power grids not to be as stable as they were, especially marching into 2024. Now, Pakistan, nationwide power outage. All cities, major cities. And I thought, that's real interesting. Look how dark it is there. Not normal to see like that. But then jumping over to the Vatican, reported also power outages, not in the mainstream media, but others local on the ground that are just viewing this in the webcams and going out themselves that are in Italy. Normal nighttime view versus the darkened view. And I jumped onto a live stream here, 4 p.m. on the 10th, going into the sunset there, obviously, on a Sunday, and not a single soul around. Almost zero people there. Off of inside paper, there are road closures going around to the Vatican. Strange and unusual, but when you're looking at historical precedents here and repeating cycles of time, how governments might try to mitigate anything that would erode their power. And we know we're going to this grand solar minimum. Populations are going to have to be locked down. You didn't want everybody running with their money to different locations across the planet and disrupting what was already there. We already see that, so that's check the box number one. Every time through history, when people can't eat, they want change. So how would you stop that from happening? First, you would control the citizens, lock down the food supply, give the rations, and make sure they couldn't organize to ask for change, even if they were hungry. But I don't think history is going to be on their side, especially if we're looking back in different times that built the majestic structures. I'll even bring you over to Dresden, which is a real interesting one here. Before the Allies had pounded that place into smithereens, you'll start to see the beautiful architecture. And I'm wondering if those, what looks like spires of glass on the right and left of the doorway there on the roof, if that has something to do with any type of power transmission or receiving. Nikola Tesla talked about using some of these larger buildings as power receivers and transmitters, which brings me to the Eiffel Tower, which also lost power. And I thought that's a little bit strange that all these places are losing power in a single night. So there's fingerprints of the grand solar minimum. I've done many a video about this, what you can expect moving forward from now to 2024. Many things are going to be asked of governments that they can't provide during this time. So there's going to be a lot of angry citizens. And looking through history, it's never been on a global level like it is now. It's always been individual continents, individual countries. But we can see the same things happening. So with global interconnectivity, is there now a ploy to lock everybody down so that it can't ask for change? This population movement is real. I encourage you to look through any history book. The massive amounts of people that left to go to better, greener pastures, if you will, especially in these grand solar minimums, when famines are in a country or a continent, they want to leave. And the economic disarray that this creates. Grand solar minimum, we're not talking about today, although it is an exact mirror of today's events. I'm talking going back to the Maunder minimum, Sporer minimum, Wolf minimum, late antique little ice age, Homeric minimum, and any time in the past. Economics gets completely shattered to the core and has to re-emerge with a new system. Not enough food, people leave. Not enough food, everything skyrockets in price. Economy can't hold together the stability factor. These are the fingerprints of the grand solar minimum. How many of them do you see playing out in real time right now? And as a global government body, how would you try to stop the past from repeating itself? And those pesky humans, they always want to be fed, is the mind frame you need to think about these creatures at the top. I'll talk more about this on Patreon /Adapt2030. I'm going to be getting off social media. Twitter I've already cut and put my last tweet up there. You can like that. Take a look at what I said. Instagram also, bye-bye. Cross the box off of that. Facebook's next. I'm going to be moving to alternative media, but one way to stay in contact and get more information like this, I'm going to continue right here on YouTube, right down on BitChute, but it'll be the newsletter and Patreon. And I do thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video, and I'll see you next time.